Good morning. Thank you for joining us. It's today's live on Equa Television, and we're glad you are here, giving us the opportunity for us to discuss. We always do this together. So do well, connect with us. Share, like, comment, say your own view concerning what we are going to be discussing today. The house is full, and we're going to take the topic bit by bit, and then we are trusting God that whatever we are going to discuss today, you have something to take home. And the house is full, like I said. I have Jemima, I have Joyce, I have Prudence.
Good morning.
And yours sincerely.
Chief Judge.
I don't understand Chief Judge.
You say yours sincerely. I helped you complete it now.
So me, I'm Chief Judge.
On this set today, you are the Chief Judge now.
So
we are judges. Okay. I am the Chief Judge. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Don't mind Joyce.
Morning.
Don't mind Joyce. Today we are going to be discussing a topic: when men judge you. And then, to my greatest surprise, they are giving me Chief Judge. I don't know from where, how, but maybe for the course of the program, she may explain. Me and Joyce, and today we are far apart, like night and day. But no problem, we will connect. Well, that's the topic we have today. When men judge you. And then, if you look at the world today, we are in a world whereby people just see you, by just mere seeing you, they just conclude this is what you are even thinking. Talk more of a little action to it, and they will just summarize your action and then give it a meaning. And then before you know it, something different is being said about you. So in this kind of situation, what will one do?
The one that amazed me the most is how that somebody will just meet you and just say, Hakasuki. That's how they are. Or you have an experience with a particular ethnic group, and then because I belong to that ethnic group, and then you see me on a different day, different note, and you say, she's from this place. That's how they are. And like you rightly said, we live in a world where people will judge you even before meeting you. They will judge you even before having an encounter or experience you in person. They will judge you based on the information that they get. But what is judgment in itself? It's people's opinion. It can be based on their impression, their feeling, the information they have, or even the action that you put forward. And people pass like judgment on. And we do that too. I hear people make statements, who gave you the right to judge me? You're saying this as who, as what, and all of that. But we make judgment daily. We give opinions about things. We pick things. We make decisions. You go to the market and you're presented with this and that, and you look at it and say, based on your impression now, or your feeling, or maybe because you have an experience, and you're like, I think I prefer this, and you go. You're making judgment. And why do you have two women selling the same thing? Why don't you patronize this woman? You decide to go and patronize that other. It's based on your judgment of the product or the services that they actually render.
Maybe you don't like buying things from a particular tribe.
It's still judgment. Yes, of course, there are people that don't do business with certain people based on like an experience with one or two persons. They will say, please, I need a contact of somebody that weld, or somebody that is into let's say braiding or anything, somebody that sells something, and then they give you a contact. You now say, where is the person from? Your judgment tactics have been like, it's coming to bear now. It's been activated. Where is the person from? You're not buying it because you need it now. You're buying it based on where the person is from. They tell you, where is the person from? And they say, he's from this ethnic group. I say, God forbid, I don't do anything. I don't want anything to join with anybody from here. I don't do business. As far as business is concerned, I don't do business with this person because of an experience with one or two persons. How can you use one or two experience and judge on like how many million people? So, like, we live in a world where judgment is literally like part of our day-to-day activity. Men judge, but it's important to talk about this considering the emotional impact it has on the one that is being judged, and even his or her own well-being, the psychological like implication. Because for some people, you are the one that will always make emphasis on the fact that some people they have thick skin and they can just ignore certain things. Other people just get broken when certain opinions is being passed, like about them. Like they can't take it. That's why for some people they decide to just commit suicide. Imagine a young lady. A story was told of a young lady that committed suicide. She killed herself because, like, an information went to her parents that this is the image she's portraying in school, and she couldn't bear it. Like, there's an expectation her father or her parent have of her, and then hearing that the parents were told the image she portrayed while in school, while in the hostel, she decided to just go and commit suicide. So some people are don't have that, like, they cannot control, like, their action, their impulse when faced with judgments by men. And for some, they can just develop thick skin and move on. But it's just a key issue that should be discussed.
And like Joy said earlier on, it is based on someone else's thoughts. The judgment, it is based on someone else's decision, his feelings. It's not yours. So all of these things are another person's own, and he is passing it on to you. You're not even trying to scrutinize it to check, okay, these feelings and thoughts and decisions that he is making about me, are they true? Are they wrong? Are they right? Like, by scrutinizing it, you reflect on yourself and see if they align. By so doing, you know what to adopt based on what that person has said. You know what to discard. But we just go and adopt every single thing and put it on our chest. We go to this other person, adopt his own and put it on our chest. So we've adopted like 5 different personalities, and then it's causing us depression. That is why someone will judge you, and then you will sit down lamenting and saying nothing is working for you. You caused the day you were born and all whatnot. The thing should be that you should sit down and ask yourself questions. These things that this person is saying, are they true about me? Nobody knows you better than yourself. You know yourself more than every other person. So if Solomon Sambo will pass a judgment to me, Prudence and Joyce, everyone will pass a judgment to me, the first thing should be, I should check myself. All these things they are saying, because they would all not say the same thing. We all think differently and act differently. So they won't say the same thing. I should sit down and ask myself, these things they are saying, are they true? And then you see people judging based on what they see. If I am wearing a shoe and I tell you that shoe is paining me, you have no idea where it is paining me. Whether it's by the toe or the ankle, you have no idea. I am wearing the shoe and I know where it is paining me. So you can sit there and judge me because you do not understand my situation. You've not experienced what I am experiencing. You're just judging based on what you see. So a lot of times when people judge, we should not just go guiltily and say, oh, I am bad, I am a bad image, I am doomed for life and all of that. You should sit down and think, okay, this experience that I am going through, this person is judging me because where he is sitting, he can see that the number is 6. Where I am sitting, I can see that the number is 9. And that person that is sitting, she's seeing 3. This other person is seeing 4. Everybody is seeing differently. But because I am seeing the right number based on my point of view, I should be able to gear more towards being a better person. Yes, if what she said is true about me, what should I need to do? I shouldn't even want to defend myself. Oh no, do you know why I did that? You know, yesterday I came late because the keke were coming inside, fell down, and then a tipper came across it. You know, you don't do that. Jemima, you came late to work today. I am sorry, I'll do better tomorrow. Why? Because I truly came late to work and she judged me based on what she saw. Whether we somersaulted 3 times or not shouldn't even come into play because what she said is right. But if you would tell me I came late half of the year, I kept coming late and I didn't, then I should be able to find a way to make you understand that no, I didn't come late. But when people judge us, we just want to accept it and go on with it. And you see a lot of gender bias in judgment. You see somebody, a woman has children and all of that, and you see someone trying to judge her. Why do you have too much children? What is your problem? You don't have money to feed them. Why will you have a lot? Somebody will have one. You can feed 50 people. You're only having one. What is it? Why are you hiding? You know, people are judging. You see a man trying to take care of his child, backing the child, taking the child to school. Judgment. Where is your wife? You are carrying them and going to school and all of that. You know,
fire.
You know,
No, I'm not
seated
angry,
next
I'm
to
not
Jemima.
angry.
The
I'm
points
not
are
angry.
just coming.
I'm
Seated
just
next
trying
to Jemima. I'm just being careful. So calm
Okay,
down.
no, my hand will reach you.
Yeah, you receive passports.
There's really a lot of judgment. You see someone and you're like, why are you still single? When are we going to eat your rice? As Joyce will always say, you know, so if an elderly person is asking you why you're still single, you're not married, so why is the elderly person not dying? Because he's old, he should be dying. Do you get? So you don't just go on accepting people's judgment based on whatsoever they feel. Sometimes you dress in a way, you are dressing like a harlot. What is it? Do you get? People would always talk, people would always judge. But just like we have always said on the set, we need to get to a point where you build a fence for yourself. When they throw in these judgments, it attacks you, but there is a limit to how the attack will get to you. They won't just shoot a bullet at you and then it penetrates to your heart and then you're dead. No, there should be a fence that you have built for yourself. Even if 100 people, 50 people will make judgments on me and they are right, I should be able to sit myself down and talk to myself about what they are saying. They wouldn't have held a meeting against me and decided to all come. Probably they are all seeing it from their different points. So I should be able to do well and do better in whatsoever I am doing. If I am guilty, work hard. If I am innocent, still work hard. All the same.
I'm actually coming from a slightly different angle to this. So I look at judgment always. When I look at judgment, it's basically how right or wrong is being placed. How someone's action is either right or wrong. When we talk about judgment, and every time everybody's saying, why are you judging me? You're not a judge of me, or that, this or that. We always talk about when it is in the negative, or we talk a lot when it is when the judgment comes off as telling you, condemning you for an action or for a behavior that you're having. But when you are being commended, we don't look at it as judgment. We just look at it as commendment. Like, oh no, somebody's just commending me. But it's a judgment. So technically, judgment is not a death sentence to start with. Judgment is basically just someone's idea of how right and wrong is being placed or being acted upon and things like that. So when we're talking about judgment, we really need to know that everybody has his or her own opinion. I have an opinion about who Solomon is. I have an opinion on who Joyce is. I have an opinion on who Jemima is. It does not really matter to Jemima how I perceive her as, because that's my opinion. That is my judgment, not anybody else's. I go to the marketplace and I buy stuff from an older man because I believe or I judge that the older man would be honest. And upright with me about it than someone of a younger. Like, it's just my ideology, how I think. And so because of how I think, I'm judging according to that. So basically, as you live your life daily, judgment is there. You judge, even personally, you can judge whether what you're about to do is right or wrong. You judge whether what the decision you're about to make is the right decision to make or not. You judge whether you should go ahead and buy this or not. So like, judgment is a day-to-day activity, something that you see one way or another. And people would definitely be opinionated about you. So when we go all out and we're shouting, why are you the judge of me and all that, we should also know that we are judges as well. Why would the scripture go ahead to say something like, with the measure that you judge, that is exactly how you'll be judged? It said, what you do to people is what will be done to you. It's because you're already judging in your heart. You have opinions about people. You have judgment about people. You see someone actually doing the wrong thing and you're just like, okay, so this person is wrong. Because that's the moral, because the person is on a different moral standing with you. So already you are judging. How much more if someone does it to you? So when someone judges you, try to look at it on the two sides of the coin. What caused this person's opinion that this person is judging me in this direction? And how, okay, so what is the way forward? is it something I should discard, or is it something I should work with? That's one major thing that we need to look out when we are being judged. If someone judges you about something, if someone has an opinion that is not favorable about you, if it has any truth to it, check it and look for the way forward. But if there's no truth to it and it does not affect you in any way, please let the person be. It's his ideology, it's his mindset, it's his thoughts. It's not like you can control how he thinks. You can't tell me how to think, neither can I tell you how to think. It's you who is thinking it. You're the one doing the thinking. So I can't manipulate you to, oh no, I can't. But I cannot go and give you the thoughts to think. No. You think because that's how you want to think.
But okay. I understand how you made your point, and I agree with your point of view. But you mentioned the Bible saying the measure you measure, right? Would be measured unto you. But looking at it from the perspective that the same Bible say, do not judge.
Or you too.
I think the scripture was more talking about
judged.
Yes. Yeah,
it's context. It's contextual. You know, when Paul was addressing the church, he was talking about how that you need to correct each other in love.
Exactly.
So judgment in itself is not wrong, but it's just our perception of it. While some people are looking at it only as being negative, there's also when you judge in righteousness. The Bible says when you judge in righteousness, thoughtfully and correctly, then it's like the Christians I would encourage to do that. And that's why Paul told the church that I am only saying this because like you are the church. So for people outside of the church, I do not have the right to judge them. We should just know that judgment in itself, like I said, is not wrong. But in your judgment, make sure that it is on the right ground that you're passing your judgment. And also ensure that in your judgment it is correct. It is not based on bias. It is not biased because it is opinion. So while you're passing your opinion, on what ground are you passing the opinion? So that was why Paul said, I can talk to you because you are my fellow brothers in Christ. But for those people that are outside of the church, it is for God to judge them. So when somebody outside of the church tells you that you don't have the right to judge me, of course it's not out of place to tell you that. And that was why Paul said it is for God to judge them. Now, why is he having the moral ground to talk, to correct his fellow? Because he knows the expectation.
Okay, the reason why I brought this, because it's common, and I believe you people will agree with me, in the sense that people use that as a defense mechanism.
Yeah,
exactly.
For their erroneous life.
Exactly.
I've had people, I think
true.
I've had somebody said this. This person is a pastor's child. And so how that was expressing how that people keep saying, you don't behave like a pastor's child, you don't look like a pastor's child, and all of that. So this person was angry and saying, how do you want me to behave? Because it's my father that is the pastor, it's not me that is the pastor. So you want me to, just because I'm doing things that are pleasing to me, like it becomes a problem. So you want me to behave in certain way, you are judging me and all of that. Now, you see how I said Paul was, when he was addressing the church, he was trying to correct. Like he was deliberate about correcting, like the church correcting one another. And no wonder for some denomination like ECHO, you see, you correct one another in love. You point the person's error to him, and then you try to assist the person to come back to like track. So while he was talking about that, if, for example, your father is a pastor, there is an expectation by the society that you have experienced the word like firsthand, and then like there's this level of grooming that is expected, and your life should not be contrary to your standpoint or your belief. For example, you have professed Christ as your Lord and personal Savior, then my deeds now or my actions are not showing that I actually profess Christ as my Lord and Savior. Like I'm always standing on the way, like on the other side. For example, I lie, I steal, like I backbite, and I say I'm a Christian, people will judge me now. They will judge you because what your actions and your words, like, they are not matching. People want to, like, they will pass opinion. Judgment is not, they are not passing death sentence on you that you are dead. They are just passing an opinion that, see, what you represent and what you are doing is not right. So that is why, like, prudence is coming from the angle of it's not bad entirely. When people judge you, can you sit down? Like, the first thing you do is not to retaliate. When people pass an opinion about you, your life, your deeds, like, I should compose myself. That will allow me to think, reflect. But like, judgment can come in constructive way or destructive way. It depends on how it is being passed and by who. For some people, they are destructive critics.
Yeah, because I was about to ask that. You know, sometimes it's not people like talking to you about a certain lifestyle that you live or certain things that you are doing. You understand? But you look at it from the angle of who is even talking to you,
Yeah, exactly.
and on what ground, and how is the person even putting his own opinion to you. I think sometimes that's when people find it very offensive, and before you know it, instead of them picking correction, at the end of the day, you now see them putting defense, and then you hear the words after all of us are not perfect. Are you right? Are your ways
the word is always
right? You are
the
there
word is
judging
always
me.
on what moral ground. Like, you hear people on what moral ground are you because they already see you finish. They already know that you don't keep to what you say. And that's why for some they will tell you, do as I say, don't do as I do. But if you are judging somebody, if you are passing opinion about somebody's action or deeds being wrong, on what moral ground are you also doing that wrong thing, or you are doing the right thing? And that's why people say, don't dare judge me, don't even say anything. Like this, if it's this person, yes, he can talk, but if it is you, don't even try it. Why? Because they know that, like, your lifestyle and theirs, like, you do the same thing. And that's why, still using the Paul's example, he said, for you I can talk with you, the church, but for those outside of the church, he cannot. It is for God to judge. So that is why for some people, they just feel that you don't have the moral right to judge me, to pass opinion, like, I mean, on what moral ground? So, but some of us always excuse our deeds, our wrongdoing with this, don't judge me, judgment is of God. If you are proud of what you are doing, why not do it in the open? You are smoking, for example, and you don't want anybody to tell you that smoking is bad. You are feeling offensive because somebody stopped you to talk to you, that you are saying the person is judging you. If it was something worth doing, you should do it in the open. If you are into an like unhealthy relation, for example, married and then an unmarried, and you think it's something good, is what it do you have to meet in the night? Can your pictures be on the billboard?
You know where she was coming from, and I was just thinking of Jesus's own teaching on judgment. Jesus went an extra mile to say, remove first the speck that is in the plank in your eye before you remove the speck in your brother's eye. It was because the natural thoughts of man is to point out the wrong that you've done. Look at the example of the Israelites. Even within us, you find that it's easy for us to just point out that this person is doing the wrong thing. That person is doing the wrong thing. This other person is absolutely wrong. But we're not seeing where we are erring as well. So the natural cause of action is just to point out somebody else is wrong. That is why Jesus had to say, even if you have to judge someone, it should be that you are clean yourself. Why did he have to go and say something like, let he who has no sin throw the first stone? It's like, okay, so you want to condemn this person. Have you condemned yourself?
Okay. Yeah, I want to ask this, Jemima. Okay, looking at judgment and condemnation, I think that's where, can we say it's the same thing?
It's not exactly the same thing, though there are similarities in them. Judgment, you're passing what you think. You're saying what you think to somebody based on what he has done. But condemnation is like you've written that person off you said, okay, you are doomed for life. There's nothing good that will come out of you again. You've sent that person off to where it's not good. But judgment, you're just saying what you feel is right and what you feel is wrong based on what that person is doing that you have seen. So I wouldn't say judgment and condemnation are exactly the same thing. And the example I had in mind was what Prudence just said about the woman that everyone brought and they were just trying to trap Jesus to hear what he will say based on, okay, you're always doing the teaching and the talking, so answer this. And they said, this woman was found committing adultery. What do we do with her? And Jesus answered them. He said, he who is without sin should be the first to cast the first stone on her. Jesus knew everybody that was there, and he knows that there is no single one of them that was without sin. So he said that to see who will still talk. And the passage said everyone started leaving one after the other, from the oldest down to the smallest. And by the time he raised his head, it was just him and that woman. So when you are judging, yes, in as much as you want the best for the person, some people actually, because some judge with terrible things in mind. In as much as you want the best for that person, as you are judging, you should also be talking to yourself. Whatever form of judgment you are saying, you should also be talking back to yourself, because you also need it as well as another person. We help each other by lifting each other up. So if I lift this person up, I also need another person to lift me higher. So you don't judge from a place of superiority, like, okay, you are above every other person. I am the Lord of this kingdom, so I am the one to pass judgment to you. Somebody would also have to pass judgment to me as well. In a church setting where you see a church discipline being administered to somebody, you hear people talking, you hear rumors, you hear backbiting, you just hear murmuring here and there. Why? Because they have caught him today. You don't know if you will be the one they will catch tomorrow. But then the fact that someone is being placed on church discipline doesn't mean there are no other people that are committing the same sin or even worse sins among the congregation. It's just unfortunate that that person, they caught him. But it still doesn't make people learn. They talk and talk and talk. You practically become the theme of the year because you've been the one that was caught until another culprit will emerge. But then the most important thing is, when you are passing judgment, you should also be speaking to yourself more than you are speaking to another person. And if you know that you're not in a place to pass that judgment, I think you should work on yourself before you even get to a point of administering judgment to others. When you do not work on yourself, that's when you hear comments like, why is she the one telling me? Do you know the things she does? You should be able to work on yourself and get to a place where you would be able to pass judgment, whether constructive or destructive to someone.
And something about constructive judgment or criticism, I'm going to use that word better because I feel like it fits more. It's that you actually get your facts right.
Correct.
One thing about the illustration, not the illustration, the story of Jesus and the widow, and the lady that was caught in adultery. I find it quite interesting that they caught her in adultery, but they brought only her. So I'm confused. Was she committing adultery with herself? Where was their So from the beginning, their judgment was wrong. Because where's the man?
Maybe
He ran away.
Maybe he's wealthy. He's a rich man. They can't challenge him.
Or she was the one that raped him.
Or maybe one on authority. Kind of.
Could be. However it is, this is the fact. A lot of times when people are passing off judgment, their stories are half-baked. Oh, you're not getting the full story. You don't have the full picture. And you're giving out your judgment already. And most times that's how men judge. It's like an easy thing for men to just judge from the first thing that they see. And they don't dig deep to actually find where there's right or wrong. You just judge what you're saying. And immediately you do that, you would not constructively judge right. Because how are you going to help the person if you've already condemned the person from first sight? You're not seeing exactly where the problem is to help that person. If, for instance, what the illustrations Jemima is giving, someone is being put on church discipline. Why is he there? For what reason? Okay, so they because more times than not, they just give you the surface knowledge of what it is. Okay,
Mm.
so this is it. This happened to this. If you don't know the full story, pray for this person, and that's all. Let's leave it at that. If you want to go an extra mile to help the person, don't go ahead and just scrunch your nose the way we used to be doing and pushing your mouth and doing. No, don't go ahead and do something like that. Understand with the person, where is this person coming from? What is it that is wrong? What is that person's weakness, and how are you going to help that person grow it? That is the only way that you're going to be able to pass constructive judgment. That you understand that this is where this person is at, and we are aiding him. So really, to give constructive judgment, it is best if you already know the facts. You get the full story, get the full gist. Don't go, I can't give you half-baked bread and expect you to enjoy it, or to say whether it is nice or terrible. It's not fully baked, so the person cannot even understand how it is supposed to taste.
And for the story of Jesus and that woman, he judged, but he didn't condemn her.
Yes.
Because the judgment, he said, okay, all of you, anyone that his hands are clean, he should throw the first stone. That's judgment, right? But at the end, he has the right to condemn her.
He still gave her a second chance.
He gave her the second chance and say, go and sin no more. So you see, there's an opportunity given to her for her to amend. I think that's what is missing when it comes to us human judging. You know, sometimes even if you get the full gist, like the facts right, you know, it boils down to the motive of why you are taking your stand concerning that particular issue. You understand? Because you can get the fact still correct, but because your motive of the judgment is wrong, you can still pass a wrong judgment concerning that person. Because for instance, you know, Prudence get the facts correct about me picking something that is not mine. You understand? But she's putting the story out there simply because me and her in the office were not in good time. That's just the reason why she is putting
That's
the
why I went
judgment,
to
so that
dig in the first
yes,
place.
to dig in the first place. So these are some of the things that are happening, and then you hear somebody say, who are you to judge me? Where are you standing? You know, if you know you are right, for this word, please, I beg, shut up.
I
you
also
know?
want to think that condemnation is also judgment in itself. Because you know, we said judgment is an opinion you pass over something, someone, or a situation based on your impression, your experiences, the information you have, or perhaps facts. So condemnation, when somebody condemns you, he has passed judgment on you. He has seen no good coming from you. And people also do that a lot. Like people condemn that's judgment for them. So you see, when men condemn you, when men judge you, at work you will be judged, at home you will be judged,
Everywhere.
in the society you will be judged, in the market you will be judged, people will meet you on the street, they will judge you, in the church you will be judged. Like, there are people that will just see you, maybe for 2 weeks, 3 weeks you're not in church, and they just see this person has derailed. Nobody has called to ask you, why are you not in church? Nobody has called you to ask you, how have you been? Nobody has called to check up on you, and all, but certain people just say, forget about this person. This person has derailed already. That's you passing, like giving your opinion. But what is more important for me in all of this is the person that is being judged. How do you react in the face of all of these judgments? You live in a world where you are not an island of yourself. You live with people, and people make opinions. And people have opinions about who you are and how you should
Whether
live
you
your
like
life.
it or not.
Whether you, no matter how you try to compose yourself, no matter how you try to, oh, I will mind my business, no matter how you try to disregard it, people will pass judgment. So it's either they are saying this person is good, this person is intelligent, or they are saying this person is a terrible fellow to work with, this is a terrible employee, I feel that the employer should sack this person. You know, some of us like take decision even on behalf of the employers. You say the employer should have sacked this person long before now. Like, this person is not doing good to this organization. So whether you talk or you don't talk, your silence will make people judge you. Your talking will make people judge you as well. But how, in the face of all of these opinions that are flying left, right, center as regards you and how you should live your life, what should you do? Should you go about addressing Jemima now, who is a member of your family, is saying that you're always not available and you don't contribute anything? You come to work, your colleague is saying you are rude, you are this, you are that. You go to the church, they have opinions. How do you live your life amidst all of these judgments? One, I would like to say that when you want to keep addressing, you want to be focused on the opinions, you find out that you're not living the life that you have been called to. In the face of judgment, you should be able, like earlier on I talked about composure. Compose yourself. There are days that you just go to work so happy, and on entrance you just do you know what this person told me? They said yesterday you did this, you did that. Or they say you are behaving, you are being bossy and all of that. So in the midst of this opinion, what do? Compose yourself. In composing yourself, you will reflect on what they are saying, on their opinion. Like, instead of you just reacting, she said what? Let me go, I'll change it for him, I'll change it for that. No. Compose yourself. Think about what they say. Think about the opinion. Is it right? Is it wrong? And that's where reflection comes now. If what they are saying is right, like Jemima said earlier on, 10 people cannot be saying the same thing about you, and you are saying they are judging you. Yes, they are judging you, and you are saying that they don't have the right to judge you. Like, there's an expectation. This person saying you stole, this person you stole, and you need to sit down and think. If this person and that person and that means I need to change. If there's need for you to change your way, you change. So in composing yourself, it allows you to think and reflect of the situation. And then if it is the one that requires you to address it, like to meet the person, you should, because there are some judgment that comes from people we respect, people we honor. So imagine them passing judgment on you. For example, you work with somebody and that person is your employer or is your immediate boss or your supervisor, and you say, I can't do this with this person. I gave you work and you couldn't deliver or something, and probably you had some emotional, maybe trauma or something that affect that. This is not who you are. But when you were given the job, you couldn't deliver because you were going through certain, maybe health challenge, or there's an issue in the house or something, and it affected your output in that job. You could meet the person and, okay, this is actually not who I am, but for the past 3 days, this is what I've been going through. Because for your failure, the person has made a decision about you already. And your supervisor will be like, no, next time, no, let's not do this with this. Let's do the work with this person, because he has built an opinion about you that you will not deliver. So it is up to you, since you respect that person and you know the person like is an authority over you, should meet the person and you should be able to say, I'm sorry, this is actually what happened and this. And for example, another example we talked about was like the church discipline. I don't think that is because somebody is caught in the act. In most cases, like for Ecuador, that I know, you go, you submit yourself. There are people,
it's two-way.
you submit yourself, because no matter how, even if you are caught in the act, if you don't accept it, nobody will want to place you. You must admit to that. And that is why in Paul's address, he said, we have responsibilities as a church to correct and to help one another. So you are being called and you are asked questions. There are people that it's not everybody that sits to take communion that is perfect. There are some preachers that will tell you it's not as if you're better than the people that place on church discipline. But why is the whole congregation not placed on church discipline? It's not about being caught alone. But if you don't admit it, there are people that will fornicate. It's not because they are pregnant, but they just take themselves and say, I did this, and my conscience have been like, and so I'm here, and how can you help me? And in helping you, the church will say, we'll place you on church discipline. And there are a lot of people that have condemned, like have made judgment about even denominations, practices and doctrines and all of that. Most times I tell people, why not relax and try to understand why they practice what they do. Because you wear shoes to church, another person is going barefooted, it doesn't mean you should condemn the person or judge the person as being wrong. Now, why is the person going barefooted? If we try to ask why, if we try to understand situations, it will help us to judge constructively rather than destructive. And you see, I will always talk about the association we keep. If you keep terrible people around you, they'll always judge you negatively. But if you have people that are positive around you, they will judge you but constructively. That Sambo Slomo, I'm not happy with what you did. That was wrong and it doesn't speak well of you. Now you want to go back and say, actually I'm not supposed to do this. You see, Jamil was talking about how there's some people you expect that you are old, that when you talk like as the aged, there should be some level of wisdom in your communication. But you see a young lady and you say, what is wrong with you? Because you're not married, that means something is wrong with you. Like, what about her not being prepared to get married? I mean, we hear situations of people saying, Kai, this guy have been misbehaving, marry a wife for him. So the wife is now a therapist.
Solution.
She's now a psychologist that will reset the person's like misbehavior and all of that.
I watched something. The guy was angry. He was abusing the people that suggested that they should marry for the guy.
Do you
That
understand?
whose daughter?
Whose daughter?
Whose daughter?
True.
They
You
want
would
to
you want to
give
give
out
your daughter
to somebody that is not
mentally like
okay.
it's really wrong. That's all
Yeah.
judgment. People just see that because this person is misbehaving, let's marry him a wife. When we marry him a wife, like, I'm just wondering, so this lady have become a therapist that like she will reset the person's head and all of that. So we see young ladies and you say, Harry and Zoo up till now. I mean, like it's some form of sickness or some, like we treat them with even disgust. For some people, truly, like I said, people judge based on their personal experience with certain people. But if there's a lady in your family or in your own area that is unmarried because of her bad character, like everybody that comes to her, they will say, hey, if you try, don't even go close. But you can't see every young lady that is unmarried and just rule that this person has bad character and that's why the person is unmarried. No, maybe for some people they are not prepared for that. They should not go into marriage and then go and not fulfill God's plan for their lives. Like we've seen people that have rushed into it because they follow the judgment of men that
And
you
they are still
cannot be
non-judged.
so age and be unmarried. So without even thinking of their preparedness of the person they're getting married to, they rush into marriage so that they can satisfy the judge. And now they are married, they are not happy, they have worsened the situation in the society, and then they have brought children with that are just littered in the society. For some of the children,
And they're
some of
being
the
judged more now.
they are judged more. So why not, instead of I always used to say this to people, that when you see somebody that is not married, instead of you saying yo she's akuchi rice, when will you eat it? Ask the person, who are you in a relationship with? How well do you know this person? If you are a Christian, is that person also a believer? Can you ask about their spiritual life and ask more about their preparedness than? And that is why you see the disrespect coming from a younger person. How that then an older person will talk to you, even you can't even look at the person in the eye. But today you are telling a young lady, up to now you're not married, she tell you up to now you did not die. So you see the disrespect that we're bringing to ourselves because we are judging people. So it's just important that like we look at our own life before you judge people. Look at your own life and on what moral ground are you standing. If you are standing on the right, like we should also be able to help those that are tilting toward the wrong path by drawing them back and correcting. But for some people that cannot take it, like I mean, you are broken because of what men say to you. Like they are just opinion, and their opinion should not define you or where you are headed. I mean, the examiner, they are not even the marker. So why should they? Do you understand? I had an experience when I got admission and I was registering, and this person was supposed to be my level coordinator, the person that will guide me throughout my stay in the university. But on registration, I've not even started the lectures yet. When I just made a mistake on the file, and I was like, oh, so sorry, I made a mistake here. And she looked at me and she just said, I'm not even sure you can read exam question and even passed. Yeah, that was what she told me. And I look at her. For some, maybe the expectation will be, I'll be broken, I'll start crying. But I felt terrible about that statement. But immediately I thought to myself, will I be able to read the exam question? Yes. Will I pass? Yes.
So what is it?
So should I start? Why would I cry? So I felt terrible about that, her statement. But then, did it define my stay in the university? Did I read exam? Did I pass? Did I read exam question? Did I pass or not pass? I passed throughout. And like, I'm not saying anybody that had carryover was something, but I had never, throughout my stay in the university, I've never written any course twice. So I think I was sharing sometime ago that I wished at the end of, because at some point she was changed, that she was around on the last, like our
She wouldn't
graduation.
even have remembered.
Like,
Like she said
of
something
course
like
she
that.
would not. That's one thing about people that judge
Yes,
you. They
they
don't even
don't
remember. But you, the person that is being judged, you hold on to that. So what I'm trying to say right now is that if that person's opinion does not define you, you know who you are. And of course, that is not my end. Some people will write you off, even in the family, that nothing good will come out from this person. Like, don't allow it to define you or even where you are headed. I've seen a lot of people that allow statements like that to just kill them and kill their future and where they're actually headed. In the school also, a lady said that, where are you from? And I told her that I'm from Plateau State. And she said, Plateau people. These people that don't know anything. Don't even dare it. You want to go into student unionism and politics. You will fail woefully and all of that. I smiled as well. That's not who I am.
You see something about judging, condemnation, criticism. It's there. All these things. In fact, every negativity is there to build you. Honestly, it's just the way you look at things. If you're being judged concerning something, how do you approach it? For instance, the illustration she just gave, her story. You don't let certain things get to you, but sometimes some of these things are being said so that you can prove them wrong. It doesn't even take you so much to prove them wrong. You just go ahead and do what you know how to do best. Live your life. So a lot of times when we look at condemnation and we look at when people judge us, we automatically just begin to think of how terrible our lives have been. Earlier on, that's what Jemima was talking about. But that's not what judgment is supposed to do to you. It's supposed to help you reflect, to find out if there's any way that any of this statement being said about you is true, so that you rectify it and work for the betterment of yourself. We've spoken about you finding out your identity, knowing your purpose. Do you have any idea that finding out your identity and knowing your purpose, you cannot just do it ideally? No. You have to have trials and errors. You also have to have basic understanding of the person that you are. You also have to have an understanding of the person that people perceive you to be. And things like that. It's all encompassing. You're building yourself because of things like this. So we talk about how some people feel judged because of every single step they are making. For instance, as a pastor's kid growing up, there's one thing I knew, that the whole church looks at me. So like the eyes of the whole church is like, okay. I'm like limelight. Everybody's just looking at me. So if I don't want to feel judged, I do what I know sits right between me and God. And when I say me and God, there are a lot of things that you do, and also the society as well. There's a lot of things that you do that you check. Okay, so if I do not want to feel judged, how does what I'm doing sit right with me? And how does it sit right with God? When you walk according to those two, it's like it moves easily for you. You don't even have to live a double life. No, it just comes naturally to you, because this is where you're connected. This is where you're getting your source from. But you profess that you're one thing, and then you appear to be another thing, and automatically people are looking at you and giving you judgment. Oh no, this person.
And you're angry.
And you're angry. Why should you be angry?
You should not be a pastor's kid. If you are stealing, how will you be stealing and be saying you're a pastor's kid? How will you be lying and be saying you're a pastor's kid? You are prostituting, you are smoking, you say you're a pastor's kid.
That you're a pastor's
I say people should not talk. That is your life. It's your father that chose to be pastor, it's not you.
There are just some things that you should really let go of for your peace of mind. It's just, it's easier for you to even just let go of these things. And there are other things that you need to learn how to build for your peace of mind, so that even when someone decides to say certain things about you, you know that you're at peace because it is not true. I know of someone who recently we're having a conversation, and he goes like saying that people outside were saying things like he is very controlling of his family, that it's like everything the family is doing is because he said they should. But this man just...
As a father or as a
As a
first son?
father.
Okay.
As a father.
Okay.
As a husband in a house. And people are like, so he does things because... And the question we asked this person in this conversation was like, but does your family think like that? Your family does not think that you're controlling. In fact, they seek your opinion to do things. So why is it a problem? That shouldn't be a problem in the first place, because this is for the growth of your family. So this is one way. If statements like this will bring the bond of the family closer, then let's find a way to bring this bond closer. It's probably out of jealousy that some people are making
Some
this
people are just
statement.
struggling with low self-esteem as well.
Actually,
Low
Yes,
self-esteem.
of
You know,
course.
there's a level of, there's a way you would dress. You know, dressing well gives you some level of confidence.
Yes.
And some people, because of their low self-esteem, perceive that as arrogance or pride.
Exactly.
You can just walk past with your coat, not even suit, and somebody will just say, very pompous. Some people just need to be delivered from low self-esteem, honestly, because beyond envy, jealousy, low self-esteem is what is making you judge other people. Somebody just passed you smelling nice, and you say, this person that just went to sleep out. Like, what is the connection between smelling nice and then sleeping out? So it's just some people just need some level of deliverance. I've had people say a lot of things about me, and I smile, and I'm like, I'm on the right track. Because of course, if everybody, there are people, and another thing you need to do is that when people judge you, who are the people judging you? Actually, you should for you to start being worried and like, who are the people judging you? And I always used to say this again: when people are applauding you, who are they? Who are the people applauding you? So when people judge you, check who are they that judge you. Don't allow yourself to be broken because of people. You will not even get to achieve like your dreams, your goals, if you are so particular about destructive like judgment. So that's why I said earlier, when people judge you, think, is this something I'm doing that is wrong? Retract your steps. But they are judging me because I'm on the right track. Keep doing the thing. You will be vindicated. There are people that, because like in the office, for example, you don't have a say. Your supervisors or your head or your boss have written you off. They have passed certain judgment for you because you are standing on the right track. When they say connive against your colleague, you say, no, that's wrong. I can't do that. When they say sign and steal money, you are saying, Kai, that's against my faith. You know, they can just write you off and decide to punish you for not. And because you are not at the helm of affair, you cannot even talk. You are being deprived of a lot of things.
People will judge you for doing the right thing.
Yeah, you'll be judged for doing the right thing, actually. So don't be worried. Don't get disturbed. As far as between you and your standpoint, your belief, you know that what I'm doing is the right thing. Like humanity, the society, based on your values, your principles, you know that what you are doing is right. Keep doing it. You'll be vindicated at the end of the day.
Others will judge you because they cannot do what you're doing.
Very well.
They cannot
People just
be
get
where you
intimidated.
are. So they are hoping that by judging you, they will break you.
And it's just so common. People want to be like ahead. We live in a society that everybody wants to be ahead. So when they perceive that you are better than them, they judge you. They try to make people see you in bad light, so that they can be looked upon as the good and like the good person. So just know it that people will judge you. Don't allow people's judgment of you break you. But it's also important to reflect. If what they are saying is wrong, then you should retract your step and then do the needful, correct yourself. But if what they are saying, they are judging because you are doing the right thing, keep doing it, keep moving. Like you'll be vindicated at the end of the day.
The idea is for you to be better.
Exactly.
If you are remaining in the same place all year round, then there is a problem. You should check yourself. Just like she said, the people that are judging you, who are they? Those that are applauding you, who are they? Don't get carried away by the applaud. Probably they are not even applauding you. They are applauding the position you are in. They are applauding the office you're holding. By the time you leave there, nobody looks at your side. They keep applauding the empty space. So you should check who is applauding you, who is condemning you, who is judging you. And then the most important thing, what are you doing? Is it worth the judgment or not? She talked about how you react to judgment earlier on. And the only person I could think of was King David. When Prophet Nathan came to him and told him about the adultery he committed with Uriah's wife, immediately, it's like he was waiting for the man to come. Immediately, he just went on his knees, pouring ashes, crying and all of that. he acknowledged his sin. He knew that he had done it. And if he's in our world today, even if I know I did it and you come to tell me, I say, do you know why I did it? I was up there and I was seeing her. Why didn't she cover
No,
the
it will
place?
be, I will sue you for saying I did it.
Exactly.
They show you
Do
evidence.
you get? They would have brought excuses and said, well, it's because I was sick and the place was open. It's not my fault that I saw it.
Not
He didn't
far from
do
it,
that.
actually.
He
Saul
didn't
had
do
the same
that.
thing.
But he instead he let go of every excuse, everything that was
Exactly.
going to cause a stumbling block from him accepting that judgment and repenting from it. So the manner in which you accept whatever it is important. Is really important.
And from the story she just gave,
Quickly.
interestingly, Saul was in a similar situation, and Saul's crime wasn't even that overly big. He just went to make a sacrifice that he was not supposed to make.
Yes.
And the other one was that he saved somebody. I mean, he saved someone's life who he should not have done, and things like that. So found in this kind of situation when confronted by prophets, a different prophet, so Saul did not repent for that. So these are two different people at two different standpoints with two different crimes, but it was the reaction that made one the man after God's own heart, and the other one the person who God had taken his spirit away from. This was just about the approach to the judgments that these people received. So a lot of times we don't even look at our responses to this judgment. Your response either builds you or mars you. When you're being judged, your response will either build you or mar you. If it is anything that you're doing wrong, and this person is outrightly telling you, okay, so brother, because I love you, this is wrong. Please go ahead and correct it. And if it is something that you're doing right and somebody is condemning you for, go ahead and continue doing what is right. So just find a way to understand what position you're in and how exactly that you would utilize whatever judgment, whatever condemnation is coming towards you, whatever arrow is being directed towards you. Why will people say something like, when life gives you lemon, turn it into lemonade? It's because you have the right, you have the power to turn these things around. So do it as much as it lies within you.
Well, that's so much we can take. Prudence, thank you. Joyce, Jemima. You know, I wanted to ask and said, okay, can somebody that is doing wrong still correct you? Well, I think the viewers out there will answer that. So thank you so much. I really learned a lot, you know, from all your contribution. For the viewers, we thank you so much for giving us your time, and we hope that you have gotten something, you know, to chew throughout the remaining days of the week. So we are saying we are grateful for choosing Equa Television, for investing your data, you know, in watching this program. We are saying we are grateful. In whatever you do, remember that people will judge you. Whether you're doing right or you're doing wrong, people will judge you. But I think the most important thing is that if you are doing the wrong thing, there's a second chance for you, you know, to listen to what people are saying, and then you correct yourself. But if you're on the right track and people are still talking, still maintain that track and keep pushing. And at the end of the day, you know, whatever people say concerning you, God have the final say. So thank you so much for doing this with us. Remain blessed and be kind to one another. See you next episode.